All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here for our very first monthly Q&A of 2026. I'm excited to get to spend some time with you all tonight and talking about one of my favorite topics in the world, which is unschooling. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Angela. I used to be a public school teacher. I taught in the public school system here for over a decade. I'm certified in Spanish, ESOL, and special education. And I left school several years ago, 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago. Um, and I left school in order to start experimenting with unschooling with my own kids. And 7 years later, we are still unschooling. And so I started doing these conversations because I saw the need for people to be able to have someone to talk with about their questions, about their doubts. This is what I wish I would have had when I started unschooling 7 years ago. And so I'm grateful to be able to hold this space for all of you to be able to be here and talk about these issues that are so important to us and answer any questions that you might have. So, to get us started, if you can just go ahead and drop a comment in the chat real quick. And feel free to let me know what state you live in, and then also how long you have been homeschooling. Or if you haven't started homeschooling yet, let me know. I guess tell me how many kids you have. If you have not started homeschooling yet, let me know how many kids you have. All right, so comment in the chat and let me know what state you're from and how long you've been homeschooling or unschooling. If you're already homeschooling or unschooling, and if you have not started yet, let me know how many kids you have. And we'll go ahead and get started. So this is meant to just be like a really informal time for us to kind of talk together as moms. I think it's mostly moms that are here tonight, which is great. So thank you guys for being here. I see we got, a lot of Maryland people. Yay, that's awesome. Okay. So far, everyone who's commenting in the chat is from Maryland. We got someone from Maine. Awesome. Very cool. People watching from North Carolina, California, Texas, all over the place. It's great. Okay. And then, like I said, this is just an informal time. So I really want to open up the floor to you guys to ask any questions at all that you might have about homeschooling or unschooling. Um, and you can, if you feel more comfortable, you can type in the chat, or if you prefer, you can just unmute yourself and talk. I love to talk to people too, so feel free, whatever feels most comfortable for you. You can, like I said, unmute yourself and ask your questions, or if you feel more comfortable asking your questions in the chat, you can do that as well. Looks like we got a lot of Maryland people in the house today. Someone from Florida. Awesome. All right. Who would like to kick us off for tonight with our first question?
I will. Um,
Go for it. Can you introduce
so,
yourself, Grace?
hi, I'm Grace. I just started homeschooling this past fall, and I have four kids, 21 months, 5, 8, and 10. And I guess
Awesome.
so for me, it's been good in the struggle at the same time. My 20-month-old makes life impossible. I guess the question is we're on a really tight budget as a family, and I got some curriculum just 'cause of my ADHD and stuff. Like I just, for my own peace of mind, I wanted to have some sort of guideline for my kids in my first year and stuff. I guess my question is how do you like know that your kids are getting, I guess, enough when you don't have the funds to go and do a lot of things?
That is a great question. So I would ask you that question back. Like it's kind of that idea of like, how do I know if it's ever going to be enough? And I think that this is something that all moms struggle with, regardless of what educational option we choose. I don't know why I feel like this is just a part of being a mom. Like, I don't know about you, but I constantly am asking myself, like, okay, is this enough? Am I doing a good enough job? Is this okay? Should I be doing more?
Right.
And if you've ever felt like that, feel free to drop a comment in the chat and let me know if you have ever felt like that or if that's been a thought in your mind, regardless of how you educate your kids, if you've ever wondered, oh gosh, is this enough? Are we doing enough? Is this good enough? And I do think that this is like just a very essential question as yeah, I see people are commenting. I think that every day, always. Yeah, so you're definitely not alone, Grace, in feeling this way. I don't know why. I just feel like this is like a universal mom feeling that we just wonder that all the time if we're doing enough. And I think the answer to that question is yes and no, regardless of what you choose, right? And I say that as someone who has worked with parents that are in like the wealthiest tax bracket that have access to a lot of money and a lot of funds. And as also someone who has worked with families that are living in extreme poverty in other, like in third world countries. So as someone who's worked with kind of the whole spectrum of people and finances, doing enough, I don't think comes down to how much money you have. But it's really something that only you will be able to answer for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think at the end of the day, can we all do things more and better? Of course. Can we also do things less and worse? Yes, right? So it's kind of this existential question I feel like that there isn't going to be a right answer to. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, I think that if you're doing your best, and only you know what that is, like if you're doing your best, it's going to be enough.
Okay. I guess I
It's
feel
going
like
to be
it's
enough.
just hard. My son is he just got diagnosed with dyslexia,
Hmm.
and they were in private school for all the other years. My oldest is in fourth grade. And
Can you let the dogs in?
finding so many gaps in their education, just like they
Hmm.
didn't master this, that wasn't mastered, or like just little pieces of like her reading, my oldest reading, and I'm like, okay, like let's divert back to second grade instead of fourth grade to fill in these gaps. And she's being like, this is so boring. I'm like, okay, that's great. But you didn't know that. Like I understand that you know this, but you didn't know that. And it's like, and I'm trying to like just kind of like take it really easy, and we don't like over. It's maybe like I want to say I maybe sit down with them each maybe half an hour a day for each of them, like one on one for like a half an hour, just to kind of fill in and get a grasp of like what they know, what they don't know, and like all of my money right now is going to my son's private speech therapist and his private reading specialist, and it's like 300 a week, and I don't have any extra friends for school because it's all going to him right now, which he needs all this stuff. He's reading below a kindergarten level and he's in second grade. I know everyone's like, oh, he'll catch up, this and that. But like with his dyslexia and stuff, I'm like, no, like that's what his private school has been telling me forever, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. So I
Yeah.
had to step in with some intervention. And so yeah, so I guess I'm just like I feel like stuck in some ways. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm eating there. Like I don't even know what I'm doing at the
Well, welcome to motherhood. None of us know what we're doing, right? Like, even, I mean, gosh, I've been a mom now for 11 years, which is crazy to say, but I've never had an 11-year-old before, right? So, raising an 11-year-old is new for me. I've never had a 7-year-old boy before. That's new for me. Like, all of us, this is all going to
time.
be new for all of us all the time because every day is new, right? And when we have this idea of gaps, I want to encourage you to kind of reflect on what that means for you and why that's a concern for you. So let me ask you a question. Do you have gaps in your education?
I was homeschooled my whole life.
Okay.
And I want to say my parents were really thorough. Like if I did a test or a paper that they thought I should have got an A on, I would get my initial grade written down,
Hmm.
but I had to redo it to get the work level that they thought I was exceed at.
Okay.
Like I feel like I don't know. Like I just felt like my mom and dad were really hands-on with everything. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I wasn't allowed to move on until I mastered it. Like I
Okay.
mastered something in kindergarten and then I was allowed to move on. I
Okay.
mastered
So
like
so taking that into consideration, right? It sounds like you had very amazing, supportive parents that wanted to make sure you mastered the content before moving on.
hmm
Even with having loving, supportive, semi-strict parents in that sense when it comes to your education, do you have gaps in your education? Are there things that you don't know?
oh yeah, sure.
Of course,
Yeah.
right? And so I think a lot of times people get really nervous when they think about this idea of unschooling of like, oh my gosh, if I unschool, my kid is going to have gaps. And the truth is, every human being has gaps because none of us know all the things,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone is going to have gaps. Having a gap isn't a bad thing. Being able to identify what our gaps are and have the resources and the kind of self-motivation to fill the gaps that are useful and meaningful to us, that's what's important. But your children are going to have gaps. It's just a part of being human. Just like I have gaps in my education, there's things I don't know. You have gaps in your education, there's things you don't know, and it's okay. When it comes to like interventions and curriculum and things like that, as an unschooler, we don't use any curriculum at all. So
Yeah.
I know for a lot of people that can sound extreme, and kind of like, well, what do you mean? But it's been such a blessing for us to be able to remove kind of these outside pressures and this outside direction of like, you have to learn this in this order, in this way, at this time, just because some person who wrote the curriculum thought that that's what you needed to learn because now you're 8, you know?
Yeah.
So with an unschooling philosophy, it's very different. You don't have to be wealthy to be able to unschool well. And you don't have to buy curriculum. You don't have to go on fancy international trips. You don't have to do all of those things to be able to support your children in pursuing the things that they love in the way that they love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. I see Stacy asked a question. Someone says, is this an umbrella? Oh, sorry, Missy. So Missy, Peaceful Worldschoolers is our umbrella for families that live here in Maryland. PAX Academy is registered in Maryland as a private school for unschoolers or homeschoolers. You don't have to be an unschooler to be in either one. But yeah, so Peaceful Worldschoolers is our umbrella. PAX Academy is the private school. I see Stacy asked, do you teach while unschooling? So you mean, did I teach in the classroom? Stacy, could you clarify that? Did you mean, was I teaching in the public school classroom or do I teach now? Stacy, where are you? Oh, now. Okay. So I do not currently teach in the public school system. I left the public school system in 2021. Okay, come on, I'll get to you in a second. Yeah, so I left the public school system in 2021. I started homeschooling like right before that. So my daughter, when my daughter was 5 years old, so we started homeschooling technically in 2019. Hold on. Sorry about that. So yes, I started homeschooling, or rather unschooling my daughter when she was 5 in 2019, and so we've been doing it ever since then.
Okay, so my question is do you teach to the kids? So I'm kind of confused on unschooling. So is it meaning that you don't teach your kids or you do teach them like reading, writing? Or are we just letting them kind of figure it out?
So it's every person kind of approaches it differently. I don't view myself as teaching in the way that most people are probably imagining. Like, I'm not sitting down with my kids and like, okay, today we're doing this phonics lesson. Like, my kids have never done like workbooks or worksheets in the traditional sense. They haven't, followed a curriculum. We haven't done like, okay, if today is A day, like nothing like that. Everything that they have learned has been very like natural and organic. Now, that being said, being a mom, of course, we're going to teach our kids things because it's just the dynamic of our relationship. But
Right.
I guess my background as being a teacher, I don't view myself as like the teacher of my kids in the way that I interacted with students when I actually was a teacher, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So it's a little, yeah, it's very different than what my job was when I was a public school teacher. But yes, like the other day, my daughter was telling me, she's 11. She was like, "Hey mom, I was thinking like I would like to kind of see what do school kids do for math." And she asked if I could go through it with her. So we pulled up Khan Academy and she was like working on stuff on Khan Academy. And she got to a part that she like wasn't sure about and asked me like, "Hey, can you help me with this? I don't know how to do this part." And so I helped her, like, but it wasn't like, I didn't consider myself like a teacher in that traditional sense, if that makes sense.
Right. So you don't have like subjects at home that you're teaching. You're just teaching as you go.
We don't teach in like a segregated way, right? So in the school system, we're kind of indoctrinated to think that teaching occurs in these blocks, right? Like, now's the reading block, now's the math block, now's the science block, now's the social studies block. That's what I had planned to do at the very beginning. That was what I had this whole, a rainbow colored schedule that we were going to do 30 minutes of this and 30 minutes of that. That's what I thought we were going to do at the beginning. And in fact, I like prided myself on the fact that I was like, oh, I'm even going to give my kids 30 whole minutes for recess, because those poor public school kids only get 15 minutes for recess. And my homeschooler, I'm going to let her go outside for 30 minutes, And I look back on that now and I kind of laugh, but like, my school brain was segmented the way that it is in school, but life is not segmented like that, right? Like, life is we go to the aquarium, and when we're at the aquarium, they're learning about the different animals and stuff that's there, and that's science, but they're also reading about it. And so that's reading, and then they're looking at the pictures of the map to see where these animals are located, and that's geography and history and social studies. And so it's a lot more integrated, in the real world than it is in school, where we try to kind of segregate the school subjects out, if that makes sense.
Okay, so how does that work with a portfolio?
Yeah. So the nice thing is that when you're enrolled with an umbrella, you do not have to do a portfolio.
Right.
So we're still required, like Maryland law requires us to teach the subjects, but it does not require us to teach a curriculum. And so my children are still learning all the 8 required subjects. It's just the way that they're learning it that's different. So like I said, instead of doing a textbook or a curriculum for science, we're doing things like going to the science center, going on nature walks. Last week we did, a nature walk where we did like tapping the sap trees. I don't know if you saw that one. We did that field trip. And so they're learning the subjects, but just through real life, real world experiences, or through pursuing their passions and interests. But they're still learning the subjects. We just have an umbrella, so we don't do a portfolio.
So the umbrella for me, if I were to, I guess, enroll for it, so I would fill out the intent to homeschool and list the umbrella.
Yes. Yeah. So whenever you enroll with our umbrella, so Peaceful Worldschoolers is the umbrella that is only for families that live in Maryland. And so when you enroll with our umbrella, you never have to deal with the county again. You never have to deal with keeping a portfolio ever again. Although if you enjoy keeping a portfolio, you are more than welcome to do so, but we do not require you to present one to us or anything like that. That is for your benefit. So if that brings you joy, by all means, keep a portfolio. But we don't require you to do that because the Maryland state law does not require you to do that.
Okay, so my question is, so how does it work that I don't have to communicate with them? Are you communicating with them for me?
Yes. So when you enroll in an umbrella, the only thing that we tell the state is that you're enrolled with us. Outside of that, we don't tell them anything.
Okay, so they're not asking you for information or
they don't ask
checkups
me
or
nothing. I say they're enrolled with us. You can leave them alone. Thank you. Have a good day. That's the
I
extent
like that.
that's the extent of our communication with them. The only time when I have had to communicate with the county was actually last year. For the first time, we had a mother that like ghosted me for 4 months. She didn't attend our annual review, didn't respond to text messages, emails, phone calls, nothing for 4 months. And so finally, I had to tell the county, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to reach this lady. I've tried for months now. She's not answering me. And so I had to tell the county that she ghosted me basically and didn't complete the annual review.
What does your annual review consist of?
That is a great question. So we actually give families 3 different options for completing their annual review. The first option, which is our easiest and most popular option, is our group review, and it is literally just like this. So we meet via Zoom, and we do this during the first week in April. And this last year we did 1 group review for everyone, and I did not know that Zoom had a limit to 100 people in the Zoom meeting. And so we kind of broke Zoom, and now I know better. So this year we're going to have 6 different Zoom meetings, so you'll get to meet with people from, like, we're doing a separate Zoom meeting by county, but you can attend any of them. So if the time that works for your county doesn't work for you, you can do any of the other ones. And so we meet via Zoom, we break out into breakout rooms, and we do something called a 3-2-1 share. So what that means is that everyone shares 3 celebrations. So this could be any 3 things that you want to celebrate from your year. This could be things that your children have learned, things that you have learned, anything that you just are like, man, we want to celebrate this part of our year. 2 challenges. So how you overcame those challenges, how you've been dealing with those challenges. And then the last one is 1 change. So 3 celebrations, 2 challenges, and 1 change. And the intention is that we're able to do this in a small group of like 3 to 5 other people. So you get a chance to really get to know other members in the community, reflecting on your year, and really considering how can we improve things going forward for next year. You get a chance to share tips and tricks and resources and all that stuff. That part takes about 20 minutes. And then once that's done, we come back into like the main room, just like we are here, and I answer questions until there are no more questions left. So if you don't have questions, you're welcome to leave at that point, or you're welcome to stay and listen in, and I answer people's questions until they don't have any questions left. So that's the first option. The second option is we have a peer review. So if you have another friend who's in our umbrella, you can do your review with them, or you'll meet with them and talk about your homeschooling experience. And of course, the idea is that you're doing this with people who are already kind of doing life with you. So they know you, they know your kids, they know how your children have been learning and growing. And then you both sign off on each other and say, yes, I did my review with Stacy and she's good to go. And they'll do the same. So they'll send a form to us and say, yep, I reviewed Stacy and she's good. And you'll send a form and say, I reviewed so and she's good. And then we do it that way. And then the last option, so if you can't do the group Zoom and you can't do a peer review, you don't have a friend yet, then the last option is you could do a one-on-one review with me or someone from our leadership team, and that is a 15-minute phone call with one of us. But I do ask that people try to save that as like a very, very last resort. You know, like if you have some kind of urgent concern that you want to speak with me about privately, you're more than welcome to book a 15-minute call with me and do the review one-on-one with me. But if I do one-on-one calls with everyone, I will never see my kids and they will be really upset. So yeah, so we do try to ask that people save that as like a very last resort if you like desperately need to speak one-on-one with me. But yeah, so that's how our review process works. All of it is meant to be zero stress for you because we want you to spend your time and effort and energy focusing on what matters most, and that's having a happy, healthy relationship with your kids.
Wonderful. Okay. And as parents ourselves, are we able to like book field trips or plan them?
I'm sorry, you said, can you plan field trips?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so actually right now we're still taking applications for community coordinators. So if you would like to be a community coordinator for next year, where I'll drop the link in the chat if anyone's interested. We're accepting applications through the end of this month. So we have like 3 more days left for those of you who would like to apply. But if you're just like a mom in the umbrella and you want to set up some sort of like a meetup or something like that, you're welcome to do that. Just communicate with the coordinator in your county and then let her know like, hey, I want to do a meetup at, you know, this park or whatever on this date and time, and she'll add that to the calendar. They don't advertise other people's like field trips on there just for liability purpose. So anytime there's like money being exchanged, that's something that we don't like post those things, if that makes sense. But if you want to organize like a park meetup or something like that, you can absolutely do that.
Okay. So and last question, for instance, like we have a potato chip factory near us that does field trips. There's a few places that I've looked into for homeschool kids field trips, and they require like 15 of them. So that's why I was wondering, like, how would one go about that?
Yeah. So if you found a cool spot that you want to go to, I would tell the coordinator and then she'll be able to set that up. So just let her know like, hey, we want to go here, or I found this really cool spot. Can we do this? The coordinators are always very, very happy to get your input. If you find like a cool thing that you want to do, they're always asking for suggestions. And you'll see in the Facebook group too, I ask like usually once a month, I'll have a post on there that's like, hey, let me know your field trip ideas or places you want to go. And we really do, like, we look at the comments that you guys leave on that post, and I tag the coordinators and I'm like, hey, can we make this one happen? And hey, are you doing this? And a lot of times they've already kind of had that in their mind as well. But it's a great way to just get that feedback from you guys. And so yes, please feel free to tell the coordinator for your county if you find cool things, and they'll arrange that. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna unmute myself mute myself before my kids start screaming again.
Awesome. Thank you for asking great questions, Stacey. And I'm looking in the chat here. I see someone says, hold on one second. My question is, if we signed up for the annual group review but met another family doing the umbrella, what's the best way to notify your team of our intent to change the peer review? You don't have to tell us. So once you do the peer review, after you complete the peer review, you'll fill out like the peer review form, and then that will let us know that you did the peer review. Yeah, so you don't have to like let us know we're switching to this. It's totally fine. Just do the review and then submit the form whenever you finish, and that's how we will know. Missy said, is it easy to switch the umbrella since I already have one, but I'm interested in unschooling? Yes, Missy, it is very, very, very easy to switch to our umbrella. You can literally switch at any time during the year. The process of switching is that you would enroll with us, and then you'll notify your previous umbrella that you're switching to us. And that's basically it. You just fill out the form on our website. Our fee is $100 per family per year. And that's it. That's it. I'll drop the link for that in the chat. Give me 1 second. All right. So I'm dropping right now. This is the link for the umbrella registration. And then in case someone else was interested in like actually coordinating for the field trips for next school year, we have 3 more days to complete that application, and then we'll let the people know that are picked after that. All
Okay.
right. Charlie said, can I add another child mid-year? We have one child already registered with you, but recently unenrolled another from public school. All right. Yes, you can. So if you've already completed the registration for one family and you're going to pull another child at mid-year, you would just have to fill out the form and then you'd have to pay the annual fee again. But yeah, so in the future, they will be in like the $100 would cover them when you do the re-enrollment. But since you're adding a second one mid-year, you just have to fill out the form a second time. All right, Kamaya, I see you had a question. Go for it.
Okay, thank you. So, I've been doing a lot of research, and I have a big family. I have 8 children, and I do have someone that's kind of walking me through understanding unschooling, and that I still cannot fully wrap my brain around it. But I do live in Florida, and I recall you having an option for Florida to come up under the umbrella. Is that correct?
We do, yeah, yeah. So for
Mhm.
families that live outside of Maryland, the option
Mhm.
for you would be PAX Academy.
PAX
Um,
Academy.
PAX Academy is also available to Maryland families, but PAX Academy is our registered and accredited private school for unschoolers. And
Mhm.
so that's actually the option that's registered in Florida. So you can enroll in PAX
Mhm.
Academy. Because it is a private school, it does cost a little bit more. So that one is
Yeah.
$350 per
Yes.
school year. But we issue like transcripts, diplomas, all that other stuff. You have access to hundreds of different resources that you can use. You'll get like a teacher ID badge that you can use to get all
Mhm.
kinds of fun discounts and yeah, all kinds of good stuff.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So, um, my question in regards to that, are you familiar with like the Step Up for Students
I
scholarship?
am, yes.
Okay, so right now my children attend private school and they do receive the scholarship. I know that they have another that supports homeschooling families, but since your entity is a unschool, like I mean not unschool, the umbrella school, I wouldn't be able to utilize that benefit. Is that correct?
So Step Up and I are in the middle of a war right now.
Okay, okay.
I've been having some difficulties with them. So we're registered
Hmm.
with Step Up. I'm on their platform.
Okay.
And we've been trying to get like the services approved so that they can do like the direct payment on their platform to us.
Hmm. Hmm.
However, it for some reason it was not going through. And so I reached out to them and I was talking with them about the Step Up program. In the process of discussing with them the problems with the website, we ended up talking about kind of like the requirements for the step up families. And one of the
Right.
requirements is that they have to do the standardized testing.
Okay, that was
And
my next question.
yeah,
Mhm.
and so if we were to take funds from Step Up, they would require us as a school to require you to do standardized testing. And then
Mhm.
if your child do not meet their benchmarks for the standardized testing, they can actually use that to basically force you to send your kids back to school. Um,
Understood.
which
Yeah.
is not that would not be in alignment with our
Yeah,
beliefs and
it's not
philosophies at all.
ideal.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so right now we're kind of like on hold with the Step Up program because I don't know that we're going to want to accept funds from that if it's going to require us to put those additional obligations on our parents.
For sure. And that was a next my next question because it's very important because I'm trying to deviate away from having to do that and put my
Yeah.
children under that kind of pressure. So and okay, so and another reason I was asking that is because the apps are coming up, they're gonna be opening February 1st. So I kind of wanted to jump on it
Yeah.
if I would go that route. But I know for a fact for my oldest child, I just won't even bother with it because she will more than likely be unschooling in the fall. So my next question is kind of more an advice type of thing. Like I said, I do have somewhat of a community that's been helping me walk through this, but I do, like I said, I have 8 children. Eventually, I want to bring everyone home. However, um, I don't think I'm ready to do that. I'm almost done with my degree and things like that, kind of building some things. But I would love to hear if you had any testimonials of like working moms, or moms of a large family that unschool or yeah, like unschool multiple, like all these different age groups and
Yeah.
stages of life. Because it sounds very liberating for me. Most people wouldn't understand it because they're like, all those babies. But for me, it sounds liberating to be able to teach my kids, for one, things that's important to me, the values that I think is important for them to learn, and just to have that freedom of time for all parties. I guess I'm just struggling because of how regimented work is and school is, understanding how I can truly manage all of it. But as a backup plan, I am looking to just bring my middle schooler home for sure, first, and then file everyone else in. So I guess I'm just looking for encouragement.
Yeah. Well, actually, let me ask the people who are here. Is anyone here that's listening unschooling with a large family that would be able to answer her question and kind of speak to what your experience has been unschooling with multiple kids in multiple ages? Wondering if anyone has an experience they could speak to. No. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we have no one that has experience with that that's on the call tonight. But I will say from my perspective, so I'm a single mom. I don't
Mhm.
have a lot of kids. I have two. But my oldest is 11, my son is 7. And I think one of the beautiful things about unschooling is the fact that they're able to grow and learn with all the different ages, like all mixed up. Like we have a lot of other, actually today we had 8 kids over. Our unschooling friends, and they were here with us, and it was so beautiful to see like these kids that were all these different ages. They were ranging in from ages 2 up through 11. And it's a
That's my
beautiful
age
thing.
group too. I have
Oh,
1 through
perfect.
11.
Very, very cool. Yeah. I see Emma said she's got 5 kids, but she's looking for some guidance for herself as well. Yeah, so I I I think that you'll find that it's not as challenging as what most people think that it is, right? So you
Mhm.
think about like kind of what your life is like on a weekend or maybe on a vacation, and that's kind of what our life is like every day. Like we go at our
Mhm.
own pace. There really is no stress for us. Like we wake up without alarm clocks and we have breakfast together and we get to spend time. Like I work from home, so I'll usually like spend some time, working on my computer, and then we'll come together and we'll do something together as a family, or we'll go out together as a family. I see, yeah. Okay, sorry, I saw you commented there. But yeah, so we just are able to kind of create the kind of flow that works best for us, and every day is different. So yeah, we
Yeah.
like it. But I know that you'll be able to make that transition like when is a good
Mhm.
time for you to be able to do it. But it will work out. And the nice thing is you don't have to have it all figured out to be able to start. Right.
Yes, yes. Okay, that is pretty encouraging. I think it's just going to be a process of acceptance. So yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
working through that. But yeah, I thank you. And then that is not me in the comments. That's someone that I invited. So she
Oh,
also is a mom to a large family. So
okay.
um,
I was like, oh, you were commenting. I thought we got an
no.
answer for you. And I was like, oh, it's you.
Yeah, I was trying to encourage her to kind of speak up because yeah.
Oh, good.
But okay. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? But so yeah, step up. I'll just hold off on that for sure. But thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right, Joanna, I saw you had your hand raised for a while. Thank you for
Yes,
being
my
so
shoulder is
patient,
beginning
Joanne.
to hurt. I'm kidding. Hello, everyone. My name
Hi.
is Joanne Johnson. I've been homeschooling for 3 years. I have 2 kids, 8 and 6 year old boys. My question is, I have been homeschooling in a structured way because that's how my brain functions. So, can you just explain to me how unschooling
It looks
works
little
with
on you.
structure?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people have this idea that unschooling means unstructured, and that is not true. Um, Unschooling is basically a term for self-directed education. And so it's not that there's no structure. The difference is that the child is the one who's creating the structure that they need. I wish I had a picture. To give you an example, so my son, he's 7 years old. Recently, he's been really excited about making like to-do lists for himself every day. And so he will like wake up in the morning, and that's like the first thing that he does. He has a cool little like one of those LED boards, and he writes on the LED board the things that he wants to accomplish for that day. I should have snapped a picture so I could have shown you guys. But to like, he had maybe 13 things on his list for today, and they were things like read for 1 hour, do math with mom, work on coding. He wanted to, what else did he want to do? Oh, he wanted to cook dinner tonight, which he did. He helped with cooking dinner. I can't remember. Oh, he do 50 push-ups, you know? So he had this list of things in his mind that he wanted to be able to accomplish today. And then as he goes out throughout his day, he loves like checking it off and picking the things that he's doing. And so again, it's not that there's no structure to the day, it's that they're empowered to create the kind of structure that they want and need to be able to achieve their goals. I think a lot of times people have this idea of unschooling that we're like, oh my gosh, well, how does that work? And this word sounds so foreign, and it's something that we've never done before, and how could this be? And the reality is unschooling is what you do. I want that to be really clear. Like every single human being that is on this phone call, every single one of you is an unschooler, because every single one of you has learned something without being in school. Right? And that's all that unschooling is. It is living and learning without school. So if we think about, okay, how do I as an adult learn things? Every human being, from the beginning of time until now, every human being has only ever learned anything for one of two reasons. Those two reasons are, well, sometimes both. Those two reasons are they either have a passion for something or they have a purpose for something. That's it. Every human being only learns because we have a passion for something or we have a purpose for something. And so if your child does not have a passion for something and they don't have a purpose for something yet, then they don't need to know it yet. And that's basically the philosophy of unschooling. So the same way that you learn as an adult without a curriculum, without a teacher, without a classroom, that's the same way that my kids learn all the time.
Thank you.
Does that kind of clarify a little bit of kind of what it works, how it works in the practical side?
Yes, it does a lot. Yeah, because I know that there's some kind of structure, but in my brain, because my brain has to function with, okay, we're doing this exactly today and that
Yeah.
exactly today. So, but now you kind of put things in perspective that it can still work, even the way I'm thinking about it. Thank you.
Right, right. And the problem with school or doing school at home is that when we think about the schooling model, and this is actually why I ultimately left teaching, but the entire schooling model only functions through force and coercion. Like when you really think about how does school function, it only can function through force and coercion. That was literally my job as a teacher, was to force and coerce kids to do things that they did not want to do. That was my job. I had to teach them this curriculum, right? And where does a curriculum come from? Some person made it up. There's nothing that exists in reality that says that your child has to learn the egg cycle when they're 5. And if they don't learn the egg cycle when they're 5, oh my gosh, it's game over. You've ruined them forever. Like, no, that doesn't exist. Somebody made that up. When you turn 5, you're going to learn the egg cycle. And when you turn 8, you're going to learn multiplying. And when you turn this, you're going to learn exponents, right? Like somebody just made all that stuff up. And then we just force kids to do it. And we don't care in school if they have a passion for it. We don't care in school if they have a purpose for it. We're like, well, this is what the curriculum says you have to do, so you have to do it. And that's it. And that's stupid. I mean, when you really think about it, it's like there's a million things in the world that a human being could learn. And we would never think that way about an adult. I would never go to you and be like, oh my, I'm in grade 38 and I have a mortgage now. You're in grade 38 and you don't have a mortgage, you're behind, right? Like we don't think like that when it comes to adults, but that's how we treat kids. We're like, oh my gosh, if you don't know this random fact right now, it's all over. And so when we think about like the root of schooling, it really does come down to force and coercion. And so when I started thinking about what would it look like to educate my child without abusive tactics like force and coercion, without threats, without manipulation, without humiliation, what would it look like to educate them in that way? The answer is unschooling. And ultimately that was why I left teaching, because I started seeing over and over, oh my gosh, my entire job as a public school teacher is to force and coerce and threaten and humiliate and punish these kids. If you don't sit down and write this paragraph in the next 10 minutes, you're going to fail. And I'm going to write your name on the board and we're going to do XYZ and you're going to move your little sticker down to red on the chart, whatever. And we're going to call your parents and whatever, like all the things that we have to do to make kids do stuff that they don't have a passion for and they don't have a purpose for. And it's terrible. And I was like, this is awful. It's awful for them. It's awful for me. There has to be a better way. And that's what kind of led me into unschooling. I was like, I don't want to educate my children with abusive tactics at all.
And I agree with you because I'm thinking about everything that has made anybody great was not learned in the four walls of school, and it wasn't from a book. I mean, sometimes my husband would be like, "I need to go back and beat that teacher up," because I grew up in Nigeria, so schooling was a little different. He was like, he beat me up for not knowing that, and what do I need that for right now? So it was like, what do I need that for right now? Useless. All that pain for nothing. Yeah. And my last question is, with unschooling, say, my plan is not to send my kids back to school, but at the end of the day, if say middle school, he says, oh, you know what, mom, I want to try public school or I want to try whatever school, I leave that option open because, like you said, we don't want to force or coerce them to do anything. How would that work if I'm unschooling? How will we be able to take them back to school, private, public? How would that work with unschooling?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So again, remember, unschooling is not unstructured. It's not unparenting. It's not unlearning, although there is unlearning that we do need to do. Unschooling is simply self-directed education. So if your child wants to go to college in the future, or they want to go to high school in the future, or whatever, then you have a conversation with them and you say, you know what, if you want to go to college, you're going to have to learn some algebra, right? Like in order to get into college, maybe this college requires you to take the SAT. Less and less schools are requiring the SAT nowadays, by the way. But let's say your child wants to go to a college that will require the SAT. Well, the SAT is going to require you to know some algebra. Now comes the question, how do you want to learn the algebra that you need to get to where you want to go? Now, even if she didn't have a passion for algebra, now she's got a purpose for it, right? The second piece. Oh, I have a purpose to learn this algebra. So guess what? She's going to figure out the way that she learns algebra best, and she's going to learn it really quickly and learn it really well. If you've been on this call before, you've probably heard me talk about this. Math was one of my big concerns because one of my last years as a public school teacher, I was forced to teach Algebra 2 with the special education students. I don't know who thought that would be a good idea. I think I got a C in algebra when I did it 15 years ago. And I was like, I haven't done this in 15 years, but that's where they put me. And so that's where I was. But in teaching this Algebra 2 class, I remember learning about unschooling for the first time and thinking, there is no way that anyone in their right mind is going to learn Algebra 2 as an unschooler because nobody would do this for fun. Right? That was my mentality. And so I started doing interviews with grown unschoolers and I asked them two questions, which were my two main questions at the time when I was researching unschooling. I asked them, how did you learn how to read without being taught? Because I was a reading teacher and I thought, you can't learn how to read without a teacher. That was my job. And number two, how did you learn all the math that you needed to know in order to be able to go to college? And take a guess at how long it took unschoolers to learn 13 years of math. Drop a comment in the chat. I'm curious to see. If you already know the answer to this question, don't say it. But comment in the chat and let me know, how long do you think that it took unschoolers 13 to learn? How long do you think it took them to learn 13 years of math that they needed to know to be able to go to college in the future? All right, see some people guessing 3 months, 1 year. Any other guesses? How long? 18 months? 6 months? Yeah, 1 year. A lot of different answers there. Yes. So the answer to that question was 6 months or less.
Wow.
An unschooler taught themselves enough math to be able to go to college in the future, and it took them 6 months or less of studying. And they did it because they had a purpose for it. Every single one. They had a purpose for it. They were highly motivated to learn it. They had already spent their entire life teaching themselves how to teach themselves, which is one of the most valuable skills that our kids could have nowadays, right? They've been unschoolers the whole time. They learned in 6 months or less. And the shortest time that a grown unschooler told me, it was a girl that she said she had zero formal instruction in math whatsoever, none. And she studied for 2 weeks before taking a math placement test for her university that she was trying to get into. After studying for 2 weeks, she tested into sophomore level college math. She had never done any formal math whatsoever in her entire life. And I was like, wait, you mean to tell me that I have spent all these years watching parents literally destroy their relationship with their children over math? Math work? I can't tell you how many, and you maybe you're one of those parents. Maybe you're one of those parents that you were like, I'm about to pull my hair out trying to make you sit down and do these multiplication facts or figure out how to do a freaking 10 grid, right? Like, or graph these quadratic functions, you know? Like maybe you were that parent that was like fighting with your kids every night about math homework. Or maybe you were the parent that was like, I don't even know how to do this math homework, right? That was me. I was like, I have no idea how to do this. And how many parents have destroyed their relationship with their kids over math? And how many kids feel like complete idiots when it comes to math? Like they hate math. So many kids in public school absolutely hate math. And I think that we've like destroyed it for them. Completely destroyed it for them. Tell you a funny thing, you know, I mentioned earlier that my 11-year-old told me that she wanted to start learning like 6th grade math, right? And so she did the 6th grade, like she started doing the 6th grade math stuff and she was like, this isn't that hard, you know? They were talking about ratios and fractions and stuff like that. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she got to a point where it was challenging for her. And so I said, you know what? Let's go back and try to do like, maybe like, let's do like an earlier grade so we can help you with like the skills that you kind of missed, right? Because we haven't done any formal math in this time. And so we went back to like a 3rd grade level in Khan Academy, and she did the entire unit in less than an hour. Like it was a 3rd grade unit in less than an hour, right? And and I was looking at her and I was like, you do realize that like you just did this entire unit, had like 10 lessons in it. If you would have done that in a school system, that would have taken you an entire month. And she literally did it in less than an hour. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And as she was doing it, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember teaching this. And we spent one day on this, one day on this, one day on this. And she just was like, okay, I got it. And, you know, like she did the quizzes and she mastered the content and she just moved on, you know? And yes, it was 3rd grade and she's 11. So it was like what she would have done from before. But we had this really cool discussion later that I was talking with her about that. And she was like, and I asked her, I was like, do you wish that I would have taught you this like all along the way? You know, like, do you wish that we would have done this math like when you would have been in 3rd grade? And she was like, I kind of wish that we would have done it, but I was like, like and I talked with her about like my thought process about it. And I was like, the truth is, if I would have done this with you when you were in 3rd grade, do you think that you would have been able to get it so quickly? And she was like, no, like this probably would have been really frustrating for me to do as, a 7-year-old. And she was like, now that I'm older, I can get through it really quickly because it's not hard for me now. But if we would have done it way back then, like it would have been really difficult. And I think it would have really been pretty miserable. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I mean, it probably would have been pretty miserable for you and for me. And she was ready and she had a reason to learn it. And so she just kind of got it quickly and easily and it was fine. So it just was interesting to see, like, there were some things that she could do 6th grade level and then kind of going back and filling in those gaps as we talked about earlier. And it wasn't hard, it wasn't hard for her. And to be able to see her, them doing an entire month's worth of math in less than an hour is like, okay, it's okay. Like, we don't have to do 3rd grade math in 3rd grade. Like, they can do it later. And then when they're ready to do it, they move through it really quickly and they move through it really well because it's not hard and they want to do it, I said, someone says, especially when we're forced to do Common Core. Yes. Joanne said, I skip long division altogether. It's useless. I know. And it's, there's some things that we do in the math classes. And I'm like, dude, like, we have tools that can do this for us now. Like, it really isn't necessary for us to do a lot of the math that we try to make kids do nowadays because we have tools that can do it for us, And even with the SAT, I don't know if you guys know this, but the SAT, you can use a calculator now on every single portion of the SAT. Like your child literally doesn't have to like memorize anything. Do I think it's nice to know math facts? Yes, of course. I think it's helpful. Um, but you literally can use a calculator on every single portion of the SAT test. And I see Nicole left a comment and said, what did grown unschoolers say about learning to read? Oh, yes. That was one of my biggest concerns. And actually that was my biggest fear when I first started unschooling because I had spent the majority of my career as a reading teacher and I was ultra terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so embarrassing for me because I'm going to be the only reading teacher with a child that doesn't know how to read, and that's just going to be awful. But I kept hearing all of these unschoolers tell me over and over and over, every single one of them learned how to read completely naturally without ever being explicitly taught, no phonics lessons, like none of that stuff. They just picked it up. Like it was something that they picked up as naturally as they learned how to walk and talk. And I heard them say that over and over and over, but my like reading teacher brain was like, you are lying. Like I could not believe that that was actually true. And so around, like I said, my daughter had just turned 5 when I first learned about unschooling. And so my daughter did not know how to read at that point. And I was like, you know what? If ever I'm going to find out if these people are lying or crazy, now is the chance. Now is my chance. And that was my motivation for starting unschooling when my daughter was 5, because I was so curious to know, how do kids learn how to read without being taught? And so for that entire first year, my daughter was 5, I had committed to myself. I said, I am not going to teach her anything this year. Instead of viewing myself as the teacher of my child, I'm going to become the best student that I can of my child. I'm going to be the best student of Sophia ever. And that was what I did for 1 year. I observed her natural learning process. And by the end of that year, she was reading completely fluently. She was reading at a second grade level. It was like, I would say end of second grade or early third grade. And I never taught her how to read. It was the most amazing thing that I had ever seen. My son as well, he's 7 years old. And same thing. My son has never been in any kind of school, daycare. He had never been in Sunday school. He was a COVID baby. Never been in any of that stuff. And he also taught himself how to read completely naturally. No curriculum, no phonics instruction, nothing. It is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I see Stacy commented that her 5-year-old is learning how to read naturally. It is truly amazing. Like it is one of the most amazing things that I've ever done. But yes, they basically, the answer that I got from the unschoolers was that they all kind of learned in different times in different ways. There were some that said that they had taught themselves how to read when they were like 4, and there were others that said that they didn't really learn how to read until they were like 12. And I would say the most common age for them to learn how to read naturally was somewhere around like 7 or 8 years old. That was kind of the most common answer that I got. But yeah, it was kind of somewhere within that range between 5 and 12, or 4 and 12, sorry. But yeah, that was it. They just learned how to read naturally, and yeah, that was it. I see Melanie has a question. Melanie, would you like to share?
Hi, thank you. My question is this. My daughter is 8. She has ADHD and she's on the spectrum.
Okay.
And so I started out, also a former teacher. I taught for 16 years in public school. And so when she was 3 and we were in COVID, I was in teacher mode. And I'm thinking, well, we have nothing to do, so I'm going to teach this kid. And she learned how to read at 3 and did all the things and was advanced. And now her ADHD is kicked in, and I'm seeing this regression. And I'm realizing that she's hit the 3rd grade the wall. And so because she has ADHD, she's really craves like attention, like that dopamine fix.
Yeah.
And so she loves school, and she's miserable when she is not with other kids. And so I actually put her back in school for 2nd and 3rd grade. This is her 3rd grade year.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't figure out, I didn't have the stamina to keep up with her need for socialization. And so this is it for us. We're going back to unschooling after this school year, and I'm so excited. And that's a lot because of the videos that I saw of yours, where you guys were traveling, and I was thinking, you know what, private school tuition is a trip on that cruise that y'all took, and it's like, oh my God, how much freeing it is. We're in Mexico right now because I worked it out with her school that we were just going to be gone for the winter. And so I can't wait to be able to do whatever we want, next year. But my question is, when we are in Maryland, how do I keep this child from melting down because she doesn't have
What time are
friends?
you
She
planning
doesn't
to
have
come home, and are you
siblings.
going to get Timothy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
I think that
at
you
this
are
point, I
going
don't
to
know what to do.
find that I think you will find, especially once you're back here in Maryland,
Uh-huh.
you will not have enough time in your schedule to fit in all of the socialization opportunities that there are available to you.
Oh, good.
Okay. No, I am not joking. And
Hmm.
other Marylanders, feel free to comment and let me know. Um, Taylor, is that not the truth that there is so much happening in the homeschooling community here in Maryland? Like there are co-ops, there are tutorials. My kids on Wednesdays, they go to a self-directed learning center. I see Lauren's commenting in the chat.
Oh, cool.
Lauren is our coordinator for Anne Arundel County. She plans some of
Hmm.
the most amazing field trips. Lauren, what is your day in Anne Arundel? I can't remember. Do you do Wednesdays? Yes, Wednesdays. Okay. Yeah, so Lauren does field trips every Wednesday. I live in Montgomery County. We do field trips every Friday. Frederick County's every Tuesday. So literally there is
So we
someone
could,
planning a field trip every single day of the week, and you will not be able to fit it all in your schedule. I
that
promise.
would be perfection.
Yeah.
Um, because she cries when she doesn't have play dates. Like we come home from school and she still she still wants more socialization. So if
Love
I could
that.
master that piece, we're gonna just have a wonderful year.
You totally can. You totally can. And again, this is the beauty of unschooling, right? Is that we are
Hmm.
creating the structure that we want and need,
Yeah.
and you'll see it might ebb and flow like over the years. My daughter was super social as she was younger, like really wanted to be like out of the house and with a whole bunch of kids all the time. Now that she's getting to like her middle school years, she's got like four really close friends and she's happy with that. She's happy with like
Yeah.
her close, group of friends
Yeah.
and isn't needing to go out every day. But man, when we do game club on Tuesdays and we go and play board games and she's like, oh, is Kelly gonna be there? And oh, is Katie gonna be there? So she's finding other friends within the community. She's excited to go
Yeah.
be able to like, see them and interact with them, but she's also very excited to be at home and cuddle on the couch with me and watch a good
Aw.
Korean drama or whatever. And, so you really
Yeah.
do, you get to create the life that you love.
I just have to get her off the screens because that's her other dopamine fix.
Uh-huh.
And when she's at home, that's what she wants to do. So yeah, this will be great to find other groups of people who are doing things throughout the day
Yeah.
so that
Well, and we
we're
also
not
love
stuck.
our games too. Like we have a gaming club that meets on
Hmm.
Saturdays, and so the kids get together on Zoom and they play, Roblox and Minecraft, and
Oh,
so
great.
they play together on the games, and it's so cool to to see them like building friendships and relationships around something
Hmm.
that they like and enjoy. Screens
Okay.
are a tool. They're a tool,
Yeah.
just like anything else, and the way that we use that tool really makes a huge difference. But having giving them the space to be able to use that tool for connection and socialization, and
Hmm.
I see them collaborating and talking with one another and trying to problem solve together, and it's such a beautiful thing. So yeah.
That's a lot better than 12 hours by yourself.
Yeah,
Staring
yeah.
at a screen. Okay, thank you so much.
Uh-huh. You're very welcome. I see Margot comments and said, I'm from Maryland. I'm very interested in the homeschooling community. My son is in the same situation as Melanie's daughter. I live in Washington County and there's no coordination here. So we actually did not have a coordinator in Washington County up until 3 weeks ago. We had a mom that reached out that was like, hey, there's nothing happening in Washington County. Can I just start? And so she had applied a while back and reached out and was like, I really want to get something started in Washington County. So we did like a really quick training for her. And so she's just now starting to plan stuff in Washington County. So it is coming. It is coming. But like I said, if you have a desire to be a part of coordinating field trips in your local area, Please, please, please apply. Like I said, we have 3 more days left to be accepting applications for people for next school year to be coordinators for next school year. The people who are selected to be coordinators, you will get a full scholarship in PAX Academy. You'll also get access to a training with me. It is an 8-week training that I do where I literally teach you everything that you need to know about planning and coordinating and being a leader in your community. Feel free to reach out to the other coordinators. I feel like Lauren's in here. Ask her about what her experiences was like. If she thinks, actually, Lauren, do you want to share for a second and just share what it's been like for you to be a coordinator? If it's something that you like or enjoy, I hope. Yeah. I don't know if you're still listening. You here, Lauren? I saw. I don't know if she can talk. Lauren, are you able to talk?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Sorry, I was in the car. I just got home.
No worries, no worries. I know I kind of put you on the spot
Okay,
there.
sure. No, it's fine. It's fine. So what was your question again?
Yeah, people were asking about like coordinating for field trips in their county that there isn't someone there yet.
Oh, yeah. So this is my first year, and I left a job full time, and I just started. I needed to jump into something, and I thought planning field trips would be a great idea. So,
Been chosen to.
With 1-0.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I just started planning, and I stayed up late for many nights, and I got pretty much the whole calendar planned. And I ran out of Wednesdays, so I had to start planning on Fridays as well, and it's just been so fun.
Yeah, and Lauren has found some of the most amazing opportunities to be able to take like the families in this area in Anne Arundel to go do some really, really incredible field trips that I've seen her do things that are like incorporating math, I mean, science, art, history, like all the different things. And she's just kind of covered all the school subjects with her field trips. And she's done a great job. So yes, feel free to reach out to the coordinators and ask them about like what their experience has been like. And like I said, if you're interested in applying, I'll drop the link in the chat. And we'd love to have you guys apply. Like I said, we're accepting applications through the end of this month, and then we'll be notifying people who are chosen to be the coordinator sometime in February. So I'm going to review the applications once the kind of the application window closes, and then we'll let you guys know. So. Let me see. Rosa said, can my daughter still take PAX Academy if we move back to El Salvador? Yes. So this is the beautiful thing about being in PAX Academy is that you literally can do it from anywhere in the world. We do have students we have an international accreditation. So that means that you can homeschool from anywhere in the world. The only thing is, once they get their diploma from PAX Academy, in order for it to be valid in another country, you have to get something that's called an apostille. So an apostille is basically like a special seal that they put on, we add it onto the diploma, and we have to get that from the state. It's a whole long process. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks for us to be able to do that. And once we get the apostille, then that diploma will be valid in other countries. So yes, you can absolutely go travel the world. We would love for you to go travel the world so you can enroll with PAX, be anywhere in the world that you want to, and their kids can still get their high school diploma from a school in the United States. I see. Oh, Lauren commented she planned a science fair and an art show. Yes, if you live in or around Anne Arundel County and you want to participate, she's got a science fair going and an art show as well. I see Marcella's commenting as well. My daughter's in 9th grade. Hold on a second. Do I have to earn a certain amount of credits for graduation? Is there something I have to follow, like 3 sciences, 4 math, 4 English? Yes. So we have, the beautiful thing about being a private school is that we get to kind of create our own requirements. So we require a minimum of 22 credits in order for students to be able to graduate from PAX Academy. We recommend that you follow the Maryland requirements. That being said, every state has different requirements. Maryland is very strict. Not strict. They have a lot of very specific requirements. I found that other states are not like, I don't know, they don't require as much as Maryland does. Excuse me. So if you want to follow your state's graduation requirements, you can. We just require a minimum of 22 credits. The way that you earn those credits is up to you, but in the state of Maryland, they recommend 4 English, 4 math, 3 science, 3 social studies, 1 health, 1 physical education, 1 music, 1 art, 1 technology, 2 world language, I think, or 2 what they call career education, and then the rest are electives. Sorry, is it how much is the trip to Japan per person? Yes, I will send you the information about the trip to Japan. I'll drop that in the chat. I think the Japan trip, I want to say it's a little bit over $5,000. That does include flights. Just the flight alone is like $2,000. So yeah, it's that one is, oh, and I also with the trip to Japan, they can get both high school and college credit. So that's another really, really great opportunity. While in addition to traveling, they can also be earning college credits for traveling with us, which is pretty cool. So you can get information about our like international trips that are coming up in that link that I just dropped in the chat. Rosa said, what do I need to be reporting while she's in PAX Academy, like for grades, or I don't need to be reporting anything? I'm sorry, I'm completely new to this. Hey, Rosa, thank you for asking that question. So we are a private school for unschoolers. So that means you as the parent have complete freedom over what and how you want to educate your children. You do not have to be an unschooler to be in PAX Academy. There are several families that are enrolled in PAX Academy that do choose to use a curriculum. We also offer dual enrollment partnerships. So any student in PAX Academy, we actually have partnerships with 5 different universities, and you can participate in any of those universities if you would like to. And they will actually accept students from PAX Academy beginning in 6th grade. So you could have a 6th grader that is taking and earning college level classes. They're welcome to do that. Again, like I said, beginning in 6th grade, all throughout high school. We do have a couple students that are actually earning their associate's degree before they're earning their high school diploma, which is kind of cool. So yeah, lots of opportunities for them if they want to take more like formal classes or online classes or kind of advance with the college level classes, they can totally do that through us. But like I said, you're entirely free to educate your child in whatever way that you believe is best. So through PAX Academy, students have the opportunity to earn credits in one of 3 ways. These are the same 3 ways that they can earn credits at the college level. Just most people will not tell you that you can earn credits in these ways because colleges would be out a lot of money if you knew that you could do this. So the first way is the most common way, and that is they could take a class. That would be like, this is kind of like the most standard way where people are most familiar with. We have students that take a class through, I don't know, Me Academy, or they'll take a class through they'll use a curriculum like the good and the beautiful, or they'll do a Khan Academy curriculum, or they will take one of our dual enrollment classes or something like that. Harvard offers free coding classes. We've got students that are signed up for free coding classes through Harvard that are doing those. So there's so many class options that are available for you. If your child wants to take a class, they can. My daughter right now is taking a class through Outschool. So she wanted to have the benefit of having like a live art teacher that could give her feedback on her art because her passion is art. And so she's working with a professional artist, does a live class. And so that's how my daughter wanted to advance in art, was through this art class. The second way that students can earn credits is through taking a test. Now, this is kind of a little bit less common, but there are different tests that your students can take. And if they take and pass the test, they can actually earn both college credit and high school credit at the same time. The 2 most common tests that they could do are the AP exam or the CLEP exam. I personally prefer the CLEP exam because you can do it from the comfort of your own home, which is really nice. It's a 90-minute test. And yeah, you take the test, and if you pass it, you get the credit. If not, you don't. And you can try it as many times as you want to. In PAX Academy, we actually teach you how you can take those exams completely free. So that is another option for people. We do have students that they're like, I don't want to sit in an English class for a whole year. They're like, I'm just going to test out of English. So they take the English test and then they're done. And then the third way that they can earn credits, this is kind of the more unschooly way, is rather than taking a class, rather than taking a test, they can do what we call taking your time. And this really is kind of the heart of unschooling, right? Is that you can earn credits through your real life, real world experiences. Now, colleges refer to this as portfolio credit. Most of them will not tell you that they will let you earn college credits this way. In fact, I had a friend of mine, she was a mom. She had to drop out of school basically because She became a mom at a young age, and then later on in her life, she decided she was going to go back to college and take some classes. And she actually presented to the university. She was like, this is what I've done as a mom. She's like, I read all these books on child psychology, on child development, on all this stuff because she was a mom and she just loved to read, and she kept a list of all the books that she had read, and she presented that to them. And she was like, in addition to that, I also manage my family's finances, and this is how I did that, and these are the systems that I learned how to use, and this is, how we do this. And she just presented all this stuff that she had done in her life to the college, and they literally gave her credit for those things. They were like, okay, we'll take whatever you've done in your life and we will give you credit for a personal finance class. We will take what you've done in your life and we will give you credit for an educational psychology class. She saved thousands of dollars by having that portfolio to present to the college. And so if you can earn credit from your life experience at the college level, I think that you should be able to earn credit that way in K through 12. And so that's a big part of what we do at PAX Academy is like, I want your kids to earn credits from their real life, real world experiences. So that's what we do. So basically at the end of the year in PAX Academy, the only thing that parents have to do is if you want us to prepare their transcripts and all of that stuff, then you have to fill out a form where you tell us the courses that your child has or did, and then you would report the grades that they got in those different courses. Now, when they're doing like a class or taking a test, it's easy to get a grade in those things because we have, you did this assignment and this is the grade that you got on this test or whatever. Now, it's a little bit more difficult, I think, for parents to think about how can I give my child a grade as an unschooler for their life experience. And so I actually designed a self-directed learning rubric, which will help you to be able to figure out kind of how can I quantify the learning that my child did in their real life and be able to kind of assign a grade to what they did as an unschooler. And it's a really cool thing. I just created that this year. And so the parents at PAX Academy can use that to kind of help them understand, oh, okay, this is how I can kind of put a numeric value to the things that my child has done. And that's how they do it. I'm sorry, let me go back through here. I see, oh yeah, Lauren mentioned OutSchool as well. Okay, Grace said, I got my associate's degree before my high school diploma. I'm not sure if it's still the same, but when I homeschooled 1 semester of community college and was 1 year of high school. Yep, that's exactly how it is. So I was officially done high school in 2 years of college. And then I went to 2 more years, and then I was 17 and 18. I wanted to enjoy my high school years. Oh, that's amazing. Very, very cool. Yeah, so it is possible. It is absolutely possible. And actually, that's one of the main reasons why I think a lot of people choose to homeschool because they don't want to waste time. Like they want to take advantage of these awesome opportunities to be able to do things like dual enrollment or taking classes at a community college early. Because the truth is, I'm like, if you're gonna take a biology class to graduate from high school, you may as well take the college biology class. It's not that much more difficult. So you may as well take the college class and get the college and high school credit at the same time. Save time and money. Stacy said, I was under the impression that PAX Academy was high school and above. Is that correct? So no, PAX Academy, we actually accept students from 3 years old. So we have pre-K 3 all the way up through 12th grade. So and we actually accept adults as well. So if there's an adult that does not have their high school diploma yet, and they want to enroll in PAX Academy to get their diploma, they can actually earn their high school diploma through us as well. Amy said, in regards to the Japan trip, if the unschooler is 18, does he also need the parent or guardian to go also? So for the Japan trip, children that are 12 and older can go without a parent. So 12 and older can go without a parent. If they are under 12, then a parent has to come. So yeah. Melanie is, they can choose what they want to learn and how play is educational for early childhood. My daughter played outside with ants and slugs and toads for 5 weeks last summer and learned so much and then decided to research more on the internet. Yeah, Melanie, that's a great example of kind of how self-directed learning works, right? They're playing and they're exploring outside in the world. And as you mentioned, like she discovered all these ants and slugs and toads and things. And then that inspired her to want to investigate more. And so that's a big part of what we do as unschoolers. We pay attention to like, what are the things that are really captivating my child's attention and how can I help kind of help them find or get connected to other resources that can help them really grow deep in their knowledge of that thing that's capturing their attention. My son right now is really fascinated with sharks. I think we've watched like every shark documentary that is available on Netflix and Disney Plus. But that's his thing that he's really interested in right now. And he wasn't interested in that until we went on a cruise, and we went to a cruise where they were learning about like they were apparently there was like a shark that was there, and they heard that it was a shark that doesn't really attack humans. And so my kids were like, let's go swim with the sharks. And I was like, let's not. But they learned about different types of sharks and you know, the lemon shark and all, I don't know, all these different types of sharks. I'm like, I didn't even know all these different types of sharks existed. But that inspired him to want to come home and then kind of deepen that knowledge and understanding through, you know, reading books and watching documentaries and movies and YouTube videos and all the things. So yes, it's an awesome thing to be able to see them kind of take their real life, real world learning and then doing that deep dive in it. Kamea said, when does enrollment start for PAX for the next school year? How does the annual fee work for more than 3 children to be 3 children, 6 to be exact? Okay. Well, I have good news for you guys. So currently right now, if you enroll in PAX Academy right now, we have year-round open enrollment. So that means you can enroll in PAX Academy today, and that will cover you through the end of this current school year, which will end on July 31st. If you enroll now in PAX Academy, it's $350 for one student and then $600 for a family of up to 3 students. And I'm trying to think. Oh, and then there's also a $50 registration fee that is per student. So depending on however many students you do, that will determine like how many of the registration fees that you have to pay. So for a family of 6, if you were to enroll with them right now, it would be the 600, yeah, 600 and then the 600 and then plus another 300 for the enrollment fees. So what is that? 1,200 plus 300, so 1,500. So it'd be 1,500 for this current school year.
Okay.
Next school year, our prices
Yeah.
are going to shift a little bit.
Okay.
So we're not doing like the family package like that anymore. So next school year, the prices are going to go up slightly. So it will be $400 to enroll one student, and then we're just doing a flat rate for the additional siblings. So it'll be $150 per sibling going forward. And then the registration for next year is also going to be increasing as well. This year, the registration fee was just covering the processing. But what I found is that a lot of families, when they're new to PAX Academy, a lot of them really do need additional like one-on-one support because for a lot of them, this whole thing is just kind of new for them. And so as a result, next year, we're actually going to be bundling in the one-on-one consultation. So that way, when they enroll with us as a new student, you'll get a chance to meet with one of our guidance counselors or one of our staff members one-on-one. You'll have an hour-long consultation with our people to be able to make sure that you're onboarded really well, that you can navigate around the website well, that we can answer any of your questions. We can help you really make a customized plan for your kids as far as what you want their education to look like over the year. We'll help you guys set some educational goals. So that will be included in the registration fee for next year. Now that is like a separate payment, but next year it will be included.
Okay, so I just want some clarity here because my children are wrapping up their school year in private school, and I'm definitely taking a break this summer, so it wouldn't be until like late fall. So at that point, the prices will have changed to the 400 per student.
No, it's going to be 400 for the first student.
Okay, for
And
first
then
student.
the additional sibling will be 150 extra.
So so if there's 6 school age kids, the first one is 400, everybody else is 150 each. And then the registration amount?
Yes, the registration fee for next year is going to be 150 per student, and that's only like a one-time registration fee.
Oh, that's the registration fee. Yeah, I didn't write it down right. Okay. Okay, guys, 400 for a student, 150
for the tuition to adding on the extra siblings.
Okay, but there is a 150 per child registration fee as well?
Right. Yes.
Got it. And you said the total of that was around 15. Okay, I'm just trying to get prepared, and that's annually. So if we pay it for
you only pay the 150, like the 150 that's the registration fee for next year, you will only pay that the first time that you register. You will never have to pay that again. So afterwards, going forward, then it will just be the 400 for the one student plus 150 for each of the additional siblings.
Okay. I think I follow. Okay. And then so registration's fees one time. Let's say we go throughout, finish out the full year next year. I would just be responsible for re-enrollment fee after that for
Yep.
everybody.
And that's it.
And that's just an annual fee. Okay.
Yes.
Still way cheaper than private education. All right. Thank you.
Very, very much so. Actually, the other day I was looking at other schools online just to kind of see and compare like how do we match up to other people's prices. The cheapest school that I could find was like 1,300 and everyone else was like well over 2 grand just for one student. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Yeah, my children, with this, even with the scholarship, me and my husband paid just about 3,000 for it in a 10-month period for
Oh,
this school year for everyone. And that is not easy to do. So I know it may sound like a lump sum, but like you say, in comparison, it's still a relief.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
For sure. And then, of course, on top of that, you'll have access to all of the additional benefits and discounts that we have so you're actually considered a teacher with PAX Academy when you're enrolled in PAX Academy. And so any place that offers teacher discounts, you can qualify for those teacher discounts. I had a mom share with me that she was able to save 25% on her cell phone bill, and just that discount alone was worth over $500 for her. So just in that one discount, she had already paid for the tuition for PAX Academy and then some. And then, I know you guys have probably heard me share as well, like my family and I, we were able to do a week-long cruise to Mexico last year. The cruise was free. We did have to pay the port taxes and fees, so it ended up being $100 per person, but we literally did a week-long cruise. And it was $400 for the four of us to go. I mean, you couldn't even stay in a Motel 6 for that amount. So, yeah, definitely take advantage of the PAX Academy teacher discounts that you have to be able to save money in all these other places. And then with our dual enrollment stuff, our most recent partnership for dual enrollment is with the University of Alabama. They charge $33 per credit hour. $33. I was like, that is nutso. That's wild. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, there's tons of opportunities for you guys to be able to save money from being a part of PAX Academy. And it really is my commitment to you. I'm a single mom. I know how hard it is, for all of us. And one of the reasons why I try to make our prices as affordable as possible is because I want this to be able to be accessible to anyone. I do not believe that a private school diploma should be something that's only reserved for the ultra wealthy. So yeah. Tina said, how did you make the cruise happen for $400? We may need a class just on using the discounts in the college classes. Yes, I do. So within PAX Academy, I actually do have an entire course where I talk to you about dual enrollment, and I teach you everything you need to know about getting college credits through testing and dual enrollment and all those other kinds of things. So there is an entire class that will teach you all about that. The cruise that I got, that was through Margaritaville. So Margaritaville has a special program. It's called Heroes Sail Free. And yeah, actually, I'll drop the link for that in the chat as well. So you can look on there, Margaritaville Heroes Sail Free. It is for teachers, but it's also for military and first responders. So I know that some of you in here might already be military or first responders. And so you guys can go ahead and take advantage of that discount right away. Let me pull it up here, Heroes Sail Free. Yes, and I was looking at it. They have another free cruise that's leaving in February, and I am so tempted. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. I'm very, very tempted to do their free cruise. They have another free cruise available for teachers that's leaving on February 6th. So if you guys are available for that one, you can. I did see that. Did you qualify as a teacher? Yes. Yes. Yep. I qualified as a teacher. You do have to show them your PAX Academy teacher ID badge, and you have to go through a process to be verified as a teacher with PAX Academy. But yes, if you are enrolled in PAX Academy, you can go through the whole verification process of being a teacher. You also get access to resources like Canva is free. I was paying $200 a year. Excuse me, $200 a year before for Canva. So I have that now for free, which is great. We've saved money on Universal Studio stuff. I had another PAX Academy mom. She tell me that she was able to get free season passes to SeaWorld. She lives in Florida. There's another mom in California that also got SeaWorld California for free from being a part of PAX Academy. So yeah, lots of different opportunities that you can do that. Colette said, I came in late. I'm considering PAX Academy for September for the triplets. Oh, triplets. That sounds like fun. To prepare them for college. I'll review more on the website, but can you tell me more about what's expected of the children each week? Yes, our only expectation for you is that you do something that you love every single day. Truly, that is the expectation that we have. We are through and through a private school for unschoolers. We want you to discover your passion and your purpose every single day, and we want you to create the ideal education for you and for your child, whatever that looks like for them. If your child is passionate about coding, by all means, go code. If your child is passionate about investing in cryptocurrency, by all means, do the deep dive and learn about that. We have a girl who's passionate about marine biology, and so rather than taking a boring biology class online, she's actually earning her marine biology credit by volunteering with real marine biologists at her local aquarium almost every single day. So we want you to start embracing real life, real world learning opportunities with your kid, enjoying what you do every single day and learning, earning credits through the things that you love. That's what we want. At the end of the school year, if you would like for us to create your official documents for you, then we do ask parents to submit a form that where basically you tell me like the courses that they earned and the grades that you would like to assign them for those courses, and that is it. Stacey May said, I'm so sorry, Dad just got. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Stacey said, Dad just got home. Could you please repeat? Yes. We were talking earlier today about the fact that every human being throughout all of time, we have only ever learned anything for one of two reasons. We only learn something because we either have a passion for something or we have a purpose for something. And that is it. So if your child does not have a passion for something and they do not have a purpose for something, they do not need to know it yet. And that is okay. And so part of the journey of being an unschooler is discovering what is my child's passion, what is my child's purpose. And really, that's not something that we can discover for them, right? It's something that they have to be able to discover for themselves. And so our role as parents, we're really joining with them as partners as they're creating a life that they love. Because that's kind of the goal, right? Like we want our children to discover what is my passion, what is my purpose, and then how can I earn a living by doing the thing that brings me joy. Tina said, I don't know if you already answered this question, but will this recording be later? Yes. Yeah. So I record all of these sessions and I'll send out the recording later. I also, like I said, I've been doing this once a month for 2 years now. So there's tons of other sessions just like this one that you can binge watch all of those. I also have a podcast. It's called the Peaceful Worldschoolers podcast. You are more than welcome to binge watch my podcast. It is available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I put the videos up on my YouTube channel as well, so you can enjoy all of that if you want to hear other people's stories about unschooling, where I interview grown unschoolers, other unschooling moms. And if you would like to be a guest on my podcast, if you're an unschooler and want to be a guest, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have you be a guest and share your story. The cost for the Japan trip, yes. Let me show you. Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see. Please excuse the million tabs that I have. This is just the way that my brain works. So on our website, you'll click up here at the top where it says travel with us. I'm going to drop this in the chat for you guys so you can see. So these are the trips that we have coming up soon. So from May 2nd through the 9th, we are going to be going on I have to change this now. They recently updated our itinerary. We were going to be doing an Eastern Caribbean cruise, but because of all the turmoil that's happening in Haiti right now, they actually just switched our itinerary. So we're going to be going to Mexico and Honduras instead. We're going to be sailing on the biggest and best ship in the entire world. It is Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. At the time that they did this, the promotion was that kids would get to sail free. The current promotion that they're running right now is that the third and fourth guests are able to sail free. It does not matter what their age is. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing promotion. So it is not just kids sail free. Literally any third and fourth guest in your cabin is able to sail for free on the ship. I don't know if you can see this picture here. It is literally like an entire city on this boat. They have the largest water park at sea. I think they have like 6 or 7 different massive water slides. They have a wave rider. They have a rock climbing wall. They have a zip line that will take you off the side of the boat. I will not be doing that, but my children might. So you can see them kind of flying off the side of the boat there. They have incredible Broadway style shows, some of the best shows that I've ever seen at sea. They have an Aquadome theater, which features like a Cirque du Soleil kind of show. It was one of the best shows that I've ever seen at sea. They have an ice skating rink, so your kids can do ice skating. Tons of different restaurants and venues and cafes and all this stuff. Lots of pools and hot tubs, and of course, there's live music and dancing. And they have a kids place as well. With like kid stuff and magicians that come and do cool stuff. I mean, there's just so much, like there's so much to do on this boat. The boat is the vacation. You could literally not even get off the boat and have an amazing time. So join us if you're interested in joining us for this cruise. Just send me a message. I'll drop my cell phone number in the chat. And yeah, if you could just text me and let me know that you're interested in joining us on the cruise, and I can send you quotes for your rooms. It says if parents aren't available, can we assign a guardian to go with them? Yes, you can. But if you want to send someone else, like if you want to send your kids with, grandma or something, you just have to make sure that you have like a letter, like that you provide a letter for them that states that you are giving permission for someone who is not their legal guardian to take them out, because they will be leaving the United States. So yeah, just make sure you include a letter that says that they're able to do that. And then the other trip that we have, we're going to be doing, actually, I have to update this as well. We're going to be doing a Guatemala, let me go back, a Guatemala community service trip. This is going to be a community service trip where we're going to be volunteering at an orphanage in Zacapa in Guatemala. And we were supposed to be going in September of this year, but I actually pushed it back a little bit. Again, one of the benefits of being an unschooler. My family and I actually went there around this time this year, and it was over 100 degrees the entire time. And I was like, this is not going to be fun for our families. So we decided to push this trip back to January, when it will be a very comfortable 80 degrees instead of over 100 degrees every day. And so we're hoping that by going in January, number one, it will give you guys some more time to be able to pay for the trip. And then number two, we hope that the experience will be a lot nicer for you because it will not be so hot. We are going to be working with some amazing families. A lot of these are families that are living in extreme poverty. This is absolutely a life-changing trip. I did my very first trip to Guatemala when I was 12 years old. That trip completely transformed my entire life. It was the reason why I decided to learn Spanish on my own when I came home. And then as you can see here, your children can get 40 hours of community service. Like I said, they can also earn high school and college credit for participating on this trip with us. And then the Japan tour, this is one that we're doing through EF Tours, which is an educational travel tour company. We will be like on the ground traveling all over Japan. We're going to see Tokyo, Kyoto, a bunch of different cities, kind of getting the full tour all over the country. And this tour, you can just click there to be able to get all the information about pricing and registration and stuff like that. Again, they can earn college and high school credit for this tour. And this one, the flights and like the food and all of that stuff is also included in this one, which is great. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of these trips, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have. I see Julie said, Maine is moderate when it comes to homeschooling. My boys are currently in a Christian private school. What's the process of taking them out mid-school year? And does PAX Academy help with the legal part if required? Yes, yeah, we do. So the process of withdrawing a child from school mid-year, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to speak to the school, and you're going to let them know, hey, I'm withdrawing my child. And depending on the state that you live in, you can either tell them that you're going to be homeschooling or that you're going to be enrolling them in an out-of-state private school if you're enrolling them in PAX Academy. And every state has different laws. I'm going to drop the website for HSLDA where you will be able to see the laws in your state. HSLDA is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and on that link that I just put in the chat for you, it is you can literally just go through and it'll give you a map, and you can click on Maine so you can see like what is the process of homeschooling in Maine. In most states, by enrolling in PAX Academy, they're considered enrolled in a private school, so you don't have to do the like homeschool stuff. So for example, like here in Maryland, if you're homeschooling, you have to fill out a notice of intent to homeschool form, but because PAX Academy is considered a private school in Maryland, you don't have to do that. Same with Florida, right? Florida is, we're registered in Florida as an umbrella school in Florida. And so if you were to homeschool in Florida under the state, then you'd have to do like evaluations and a portfolio and all that other stuff. But if you're enrolled in PAX Academy, you don't have to do that anymore. But there are some states that are a little bit more strict, and like New York. New York is one of them. So if you're in a state like New York, they don't care. If you're not showing up in person every day, then you have to follow their homeschooling laws because they're just super strict about how they define homeschool and private school. So yeah, great question. Let me see. And I saw, oh, Heather said, I want to enroll my daughter in PAX Academy in August. Can we do field trips with the AAC coordinator, Lauren, before August? Oh, and I saw Lauren already answered you. Thank you, Lauren. Yes, so our field trips are open to anybody. You do not have to be enrolled with us to participate in our field trips. For us, the more the merrier, because the more that there are, then we get good discounts. So we are very happy to have other people come and join us for the fun. There are certain field trips that we do give priority to people who are enrolled first. So field trips that are likely to sell out, we open that up to people who are enrolled first. And then afterwards, we'll open that up to the public so other people are able to enroll. But yes, you are able to absolutely participate in anything that we've got going on in any county, in any state, in any country. We actually have groups in 4 different countries now. And so, yeah, you can participate in anything, even if you're not enrolled. All right. I know we went a little bit past 9 o'clock. Hold on. Tina said, will you be posting the video? And if not, is there a way to get a copy? Yes, like I said, I am recording this, and I will be happy to share the recording of this video with you guys later. All right. Did anyone else have any other questions? You guys have really, really great questions today.
No.
Angela,
Yeah.
I had a quick question about the Guatemala trip.
Yeah.
Do you typically have, like, my child is 8, do you typically have younger kids on those trips or just like middle school, high school?
Yeah. My son is going. He's 7. He would
Oh,
love an 8-year-old friend to go.
okay. Good to hear.
Yep. Anyone else? Is that Amy? Amy, is that?
Yes.
Do you have a question? Okay, go for it, Amy.
Yes. So when you were talking about the kids doing what they love, I think the hang up is like it's so structured that it's been ingrained in us, like you have to do this for math, you have to do this for English. So I guess my question is, so my 17-year-old has a part-time job.
Yeah.
Right? He works at Burger King. How and what can I apply that to, or can he apply that to, that has to do with schooling?
Yeah. So think about it for a second. If you had to put a label, like if you had to put a school subject label on the things that he's learning from working at Burger King, what would you say? What are some things that kind of come to your mind? Like, what are the school subjects that you'd be like, oh yeah, that could fit into that category?
Well, so his goal is with the working is to make money to buy a car. So maybe some kind of financing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd definitely be some finance and math involved in that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What else?
The only thing I can think of is something to do with math, because he's with, working with money, cash register. I mean, he has to engage with people, but I don't know how that would go with that. It's really hard after so many years to separate what you have always been taught that they have to do to, I mean, like when you were saying about the sharks and things like that, well, if they do that for days, how do you apply that? That's the hump that I'm really having trouble getting over.
Yeah. I totally understand. And yes, I agree. I think it can be challenging for us to kind of break out of that school mentality and really start to see the learning that our kids are doing and all the different things that they're doing, right? So I want to share with you, I'm going to share my screen again. ChatGPT is going to be your best friend when you're going through the deschooling process. So I'm just going to do this real quick. So I'm going to say, I have a 17-year-old son. He works at Burger King, right? What does he do at Burger King? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it just depends on the day. He's either cashiering or cooking.
Okay, and he works as a cashier and a cook. And what else? Any other details? Does he interact with customers at all?
When he's cashiering, yeah, he has to speak to them.
Okay, so he interacts with customers. Okay. And then you also mentioned that he is trying to save money to buy a car, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please help me list, we'll do Common Core standards and explain in detail how this work applies to the 10 different subject areas, potentially. Maybe not all. Maybe not all. And I'm going to list the school subjects here just so you guys know. So the 10 school subjects are English, math, science, social studies, art, music, health, physical education, technology, world language, career education. All right, we're going to see what ChatGPT tells us. All right. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Okay. So I asked it to give us Common Core standards because I think it's helpful for us to see what the standards actually are. Like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Common Core, how is my child going to learn the standards? And a lot of parents don't even know what the standards are. This is a Common Core standard. Initiate and participate effectively in a range of collaborative discussions. That is a standard for English language arts, according to Common Core. So anytime that your child is initiating and participating effectively in a range of collaborative discussions, I'm sure this is something that you do with a 17-year-old boy all the time, right? You're probably having some collaborative discussions with him a lot, right?
Yes.
Present information clearly and persuasively. Tell me if that does not define life with a teenager.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Having a command of standard English grammar and conventions. These are all things acquiring using domain-specific vocabulary. So he's learning unique vocabulary that pertains to his work in Burger King, right? So he's earning an English language arts credit for that. Here we've got the math. These are Common Core for math, using quantities and numerical things, interpreting functions in real world context, such as rates and totals, creating equations to solve problems. He might not be writing down the equations, but there's equations that he's using in calculating like change. And well, I know now they have like the technology that will calculate the change for you, but there's math involved in him kind of calculating for himself. Okay, how much do I have to work to be able to save to buy my car, kind of a thing. Problem solving, any kind of like strategical like reasoning, things like that. All of that is a part of math. Patterns, precision, all of that is a part of math. Science. All right. It says, while it's not a direct lab science, the job aligns with applied science things like food science, basic physics, talking about heat transfer, working different types of equipment, learning about health and safety that's related to science, such as cross-contamination, sanitation. I'm sure to get his job, they probably talk to him about those things, right? So he's learning things about science from his job at Burger King. Same with social studies here. We can see it applies to economics, civics, labor studies, consumer behavior. Learning about wages, how do taxes work? How do employment laws work? All of that is a part of social studies. We've got art. Okay, this is a light but a valid connection, right? Maybe he's getting exposure to learning things about how art plays out in the business world, looking at things like branding and logos, the design, like the physical design of the place where he is, coloring and layout of things. Music, also probably a light subject, right? Maybe there's some background music that is impacting customers' mood, like it says. That's something like I probably wouldn't have thought of on my own, but thank you, ChatGPT, for mentioning that. Like there is an aspect of music because there's music that they play in the stores. And then, of course, learning about health. This is another great thing he can practice. Is he looking at the health standards and the ingredients of what is happening with the food at Burger King?
Yeah,
right?
I hear about that every day.
Yeah, that's good, right? So he's learning something about health from that work that he's doing. He's learning about proper food safety, proper hand washing, proper sanitation. He's learning about time management and stress regulation, right? That is a part of health class. Physical education. I don't know if he's one of those guys that's lifting the boxes of the equipment in the back, right? That is a part, again, that can count towards a physical education credit for him. Technology, right? Using the POS system as a cashier, any kind of digital ordering platforms. If he's got some tools for workplace communications, he's learning how to use this technology to be able to do his job. And then it goes through, maybe he's interacting with people from another culture or language, and he's learning language skills to be able to maybe greet a client in another language. Career education. This also counts, right? You literally, like when I taught at public high school, they had a class. Kids got credit for a class that was on the job training. They literally put that on their high school transcript. If they did a job, that was a credit on their high school transcript.
Okay.
So, does this help?
That's amazing. I had no idea it would break down like that.
Yeah.
It's ChatGPT. Okay.
ChatGPT, yes.
15-year-old put this Zoom thing on because I don't know how to technologically challenged, I guess.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. So ChatGPT is a huge, huge, huge help because it helps us. It's artificial intelligence that helps us to be able to ask questions and get these immediate answers about things that a lot of times, like, I wouldn't think about in my own brain, and it helps us see things from a new perspective. And I literally would do this with so many things. Like I would be like, okay, my son is playing Legos. Tell me, what could my son possibly be learning about from playing Legos? How could this count as a subject? He's playing Legos. Yeah. And it would tell me this whole thing, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah! He's pretending that these Lego characters are knights, and they've got a castle with a moat, and that's social studies and medieval times, and like the whole thing, and he's building this, and he's got patterns of his blocks, and that's math, and here's art, and like, I mean, it just all the stuff that it's like we look at it and we're so tempted to just be like, oh, that's just Legos. But we're missing out on seeing like, no, there's valuable learning that's happening there that can be converted into academic credit. So so use ChatGPT as a resource to help you. Our guidance counselor for high school at PAX Academy, she is a grown unschooling mom. She's also a certified teacher like me that's been unschooling her 3 kids. 2 of her kids have already graduated. She is an expert at this as well. So when you book a consultation with her and you share with her like, hey, these are all the things that my son is doing, help me turn this into academic credit for him, she can help you do this without ChatGPT. She's amazing.
Okay. All right. That's really helpful because like with all that snow, he does a part-time snow removal job with this.
Oh, great. I needed him today.
Yeah. he's been gone for 4 days, and I'm automatically like, oh my gosh, he hasn't been on his computer to do his classes in this Khan Academy. So I don't have to panic about that. It's
no, don't panic.
Old stuff again, saying he has to do this, he has to do this every day. He's got to do like a unit or something. So
yeah,
it's okay that he's not.
It's okay.
All right.
It's okay. Did you know there are many very successful people in the world that do not know anything about algebra?
He would be happy to hear that.
Yeah, he should be. He should be. He can absolutely have an amazing, happy, fulfilling, successful life without ever doing algebra. It is possible. He does not have to do algebra to be successful.
So I'm going to have him. Actually, you said this is recorded, so he's going to go back and watch it tomorrow because he's sleeping now because he's been up for 4 days.
Yes.
Well,
I really did need him today. My poor kids and I, for those of you that aren't familiar, so we had like the Snowmageddon here in Maryland, and my entire driveway is like a giant sheet of ice, and so my kids were outside with like trying to stab through the ice with like my kitchen knives, and it was a disaster. I'm like, I couldn't even shovel it because it's literally just like a sheet of ice. And I was like, we have to get out of here because we have a field trip on Friday. Which after we cleared it, Cece just told me that our field trip is canceled. So it's going to be moved. So I'm a little bit sad about that. But my driver, I ended up paying some people to come. But I could have used your son because we were out there for hours, and I was like, I cannot. I need to pay someone to help me because I'm not able to do this by myself. So yeah.
That was helpful, though. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking, Amy. All right, I see there's some chatting going up on here on the chat. People are saying, okay, Grace said, my kids love board games. I definitely want to start doing that. Yes. So we actually have 2 different kind of board game things happening. On Tuesdays, we have a board gamers that meet up at a place in Glen Burnie. And then I go to the board game place in College Park. It's on the Montgomery County calendar, so if you want to participate in our board game stuff, you can do that. And then, like I mentioned, every Saturday morning we have a gaming club for the people. The Saturday is only for people that are enrolled in PAX Academy or Peaceful Worldschoolers. The Tuesday gaming club is open to anybody. But yeah, so we'd love to have you guys participate. If you got any board gamers in the family, we are huge board gamers as well. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this, there's an entire like branch of homeschooling called game schooling where they do basically all of their schooling through games. It's really, really, really cool. So yeah, we love board games and games. There's so much that our kids can learn through gaming. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? No, no more questions. All right. Well, if there are no more questions today, I just want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your Wednesday to be here with me and to just be thinking about all of these different topics and ideas. I hope that this conversation tonight has been a blessing to you in some way. I hope that you are able to leave tonight feeling as though you have learned something, or that you feel challenged or inspired to do something maybe different in your homeschooling or in your parenting. It is always a pleasure for me to get a chance to connect with you guys and hear your stories. And please feel free to reach out. Like I said, I'm going to put my phone number in the chat for you guys. If you have any questions at all, or if you want to reach out again about any of the stuff we talked about, whether that be like being a coordinator or joining us for any of our trips, like the cruise or anything like that, feel free to send me a text or call me. I'd be more than happy to get you guys connected. And I hope we'll get to see you guys in Mexico. That would be fun. Rochelle said, thank you. Oh, Rochelle. Oh my gosh. Hi. Rochelle, I know you. Rochelle, please give Dayshell a big hug for me. Are you there? Sorry, Rochelle is.
I am here. I am
Rochelle.
here. Hi, Angela.
Hi. I didn't know that you were on the call. That's so nice.
Yes, I'm on the call, and also my daughter-in-law, Jessie Mooney. She's here as well, and we just
Hi,
started
Jessie.
in your program this past fall, or should I say late summer. And which we're learning. We're doing the unschooling thing. We have come out of private school, and it's been interesting, but we're learning. And your meetings, when we're not able to be on, we go back and listen, and it's really helping, and it's very encouraging, and definitely a blessing. So I thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And Jessie, it's so great to have you on here as well. Thank you guys so much. And please give Dayshell a big hug for me. Sorry, Rochelle's daughter was my roommate in college. So yes, I love your family so much. Thank you guys for being here.
We love you too. I remember when you used to come over and all. So I will definitely let Dayshell know that we have spoken tonight.
Yes. Oh, that would be so great. Yes, please give her a big hug from me. All right. Love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I look forward to seeing you all next month. So the next one will be on the last Wednesday in February. So get it on your calendars, and I look forward to seeing you guys then. Bye.